Black men of South Africa need to stop being so easily controlled by sex.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
They are weak for girls. If the black men of South Africa are serious about building a nation, if they are to build a nation here, they need to stop being controlled by sex. If a man is weak for women, he is just weak. A man who cannot resist, control himself, or put a woman in her place is the sort of man who will never build a thriving and prosperous society. In fact, he is the sort of man who will be ruled by women and live with her in poverty with a child grant as the main income for the family. She will then wield that grant over his head and cause hatred between him and his children. When that happens, now there is a cycle of dysfunction that the entire society will have to deal with. Black men that make getting women their entire personality are some of the weakest, slavish, peevish, knavish, useless effeminates one can ever have the displeasure of being around.
Ha! Gay!
These simps are so obsessed with women and intimacy with women that they never have time to think or do anything else. Everything they do is centered around getting women. How they dress, how they talk, how they walk, what they spend their money and their time on is all focused on getting women. The return on investment in chasing women is some of the worst return because there is none. You will always be in the red. You will always have to give more. Chasing women is an investment that says give, give, and give.
You're a demon.
There is never any return in that until there is nothing left, actually. Building a family is good. Chasing women is useless. As a matter of fact, a man, and a black man in South Africa, who makes chasing women his entire personality is a society-killing sort of a person engaged in a society-killing activity, and they add nothing. They are useless. Black men should stop being so controlled by women and the promise of intimacy with women. It makes the man weak and results in a weak society. Black men need to better control their lust for the flesh. You cannot be a man who builds society and be weak for flesh. Pornography is a weapon of mass destruction and mass distraction. It will and does limit and destroy your potential and thus your life itself. I'm not saying porn is bad. I am saying that it is one of the worst things any man could ever do. It's evil. It's beyond bad. It's beyond just something bad. In many ways, it is like nyaupe. It is better to just avoid it altogether, to never have started.
Stop it. Get some help.
Black men in South Africa, if they are serious about building a society, will be wise to learn and understand the research done on great societies and the men that built them. They are always, and I mean always, modest, sexually disciplined, and not licentious, sensual, or pornographic. That sort of thing is viewed as disgusting and out of line in a good society and in a society that became great.
In 1934, Unwin published Sex and Culture, an exploration of the relationship between sexual freedom and cultural development. When I started these researches, he wrote, I sought to establish nothing and had no idea of what the result would be. With carefree open-mindedness, I decided to test, by a reference to human records, a somewhat startling conjecture that had been made by the analytical psychologists. This suggestion was that if the social regulations forbid direct satisfaction of the sexual impulses, the emotional conflict is expressed in another way, and that what we call civilization has always been built up by compulsory sacrifices in the gratification of innate desires. Because of what Unwin discovered, his book has been almost universally neglected by academia.
Actually, when a society is on the decline and falling apart, what you see throughout history is that that society becomes obsessed with the flesh, sensuality, and it becomes a pornographic society. Pornography destroys men's minds and motivation. It makes the man not start anything, let alone finish the things he started. It is a weapon of mass destruction and distraction, taking men off the board and allowing others to rule and control them. Men who are serious about taking back their country and building a thriving nation will first eradicate lust of the flesh from their own lives and then from their society. The first man, Adam, in the garden, sold out sinless perfection for death, disease, and lack because he wanted the flesh and the approval of his disobedient woman. This is why men everywhere, and of course the black men in South Africa, need to stop being sexually weak for women and the flesh seen through pornography. This is essential to being a society of the type of men that can build. Black men who use their sexual urges in the appropriate methods in marriage, committed to one woman for all your life. That setup will always yield the best results for building a society. Then add to that the knowledge not to make Adam's mistake and simp for your woman. In marriage and even in relationships, the man must lead that marriage or that relationship. Otherwise, you are both doomed and will be going in emotional circles. Said another way, black men who are serious about building a safe, prosperous, and thriving society know how to have their women under control. Men like that are the leaders over their women, their families, and in society. Their word decides how society forms and functions. The ladies make inputs and then they get back to the kitchen. Black men need to get control over their women, over their desires for them, and over the lust for the flesh. Simps do not build civilization. They allow death, disease, and lack to take over. Remember this. If you dare, buy us a coffee. The link is in the description.
Why are you running? Why are you running?